boy, oh boy, have we got something special for you today. We are going to be sort of painting a huge overarching picture of gaming as it is today, the state of gaming, and then expand onto how does actually like blockchain gaming fit into that bigger picture. So let's get right into it with TSG on the latest episode of Apes Attic. How's it going, bro?
What's up, man? What's up? Yo, yeah, we've been recording quite a bit today. We've been talking quite a bit, so I'm excited to get into all of this shit, all the topics we have. I won't lie, I haven't actually looked at it. So you're gonna get everything from my side off the top of my mind. So I'm excited.
This guy's off the cuff. I've got it all prepared. He's being taken on a journey, and so are you. So let's go along for the ride. Let's go along for the ride. Let's do it.
What's the first topic?
Well, the overall topic is going to be gaming. We're going to go like bit by bit. We're going to slowly tread into it. We're going to start off just with like Netflix gaming. So recently, I don't know even how recent this is because I feel like it's actually kind of a while back now. But Netflix has started doing gaming sort of as a way of when you've run out of shows to watch and you're waiting for the next one, so you don't like cancel your subscription. If you open up your Netflix app, you can play some games now. What are your thoughts on that?
Have you played any of the games? I'm curious.
I haven't played a single one. I actually need to play one, but I think they're just like normal phone games. Just integrated within it, and they've also got like their Stranger Things game and like stuff like that, like games actually based on things that they produce.
Shows. Yeah, I mean, I think it's smart. I don't know how smart it is, but I mean, like, it kind of makes sense because we know that the majority of gaming is actually done on mobile phones. So the fact that they're kind of tackling that and offering another service, because in the streaming industry, Netflix is actually losing market share with Amazon. Like back in the day when all of the Disney stuff was on Netflix, they legit had a monopoly. But now Disney's taken everything off that. Marvel is off that. They've got Disney Plus now. Amazon Prime, is that what it's called? They've got Hulu. They've got like so many other streaming services now. Like Netflix is going down, and like they've actually had to increase the pricing for their memberships. For their subscription, to try and make up for the lost users. They're trying to crack down on like people sharing passwords and shit. So Netflix as a business is having to overcome some difficulties. I'll put it like that. So it kind of makes sense that they're trying to diversify what their actual services they provide. Gaming makes a lot of sense. Gaming as the largest and fastest growing industry, or no, I wouldn't say largest or fastest, but one of the fastest growing industries out there. I think it's a good kind of approach, especially with the mobile side. The thing is it going to be enough? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like, the good thing that they have is IP. The fact, like you say, they've got the Squid Games, the what was the other thing you said?
Stranger Things.
Yeah, so they've got these big ass IPs. We've talked about it, Dragon Prince. Like if they come up with a dragon, I don't know. Like
that'll keep you around.
that might keep me around. That'll be the game that I look into. But yeah, so they've got cool IPs. It just depends on what they do with it.
The place where I think that this really intersects with the bigger picture of gaming is more the bigger picture of just like media and like movies and TV shows, because the bigger picture of that right now is everything is amalgamating into literally Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, which has also now got like Star. So there's like a bunch of adult TV shows on there. I have subscriptions to all three of these, and
crazy.
Because I just like to have them just to be aware of what's going on and what services are being provided. I like to be aware of the market research of just technology and media in the space.
HBO Max is another one.
HBO Max is another one that just, it doesn't touch us in the UK. Like we never get it advertised to us, weirdly enough. But and then another one that's come out, I think, is it's not Premiere. What is it?
Yeah, there's too many, man. There's honestly way too
many. There's a lot.
Yeah.
But there's also not a lot. Like, it's like 5 things producing all the media. Like that's insane. That's actually
Yeah.
insane. So what's happening is any smaller companies are basically being bought up and like amalgamated into these bigger ones. And that's actually what's happening in gaming at the moment as well. So what's really interesting in gaming at the moment is if you look at over the last 5 years, less and less games are being produced.
Less and less games are being produced.
Less and less games are being produced by the big studios.
Oh, I didn't know.
Obviously, like globally, more games are probably being produced, but like GTA 5, like that game's been around for ages. And the reason why they wouldn't just flush in a new one is because it costs them $200-300 million investment just to create the next one. But the moment they release it, it takes market share away from the previous one and the microtransactions. And currently, the Rockstar's biggest earner is literally like GTA Online. And they're actually risking it by any newer release potentially being lackluster, people trying it, and then maybe leaving both platforms out of just, frustration. So it's this weird space where like, and Epic Games, for example, they were this huge gaming studio that were doing all this stuff. Now they don't do shit. They don't make games. They own Unreal Engine, and they make 5% above any first million that a game produced by them makes. That's insane. So they're making potentially like billions, right? So, and what's happening when it comes to like crypto is like none of this like actually leads to experimentation. Essentially, all smaller gaming companies, they're literally being bought up by like Ubisoft and different gaming companies to diversify their portfolios, because if they've got enough portfolio, there'll be some winners, there'll be some losers, and they'll offset each other and they'll be making money like more than anything. And the big IPs are just playing it super safe.
Yeah.
How do you think that? What do you think that spells for like the NFT gaming side?
Well, like with them playing it safe, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like I had a chat with Andrew about it, and it's actually something kind of what he talks about with Google. Like Google is like a couple of facts that Andrew kind of threw out, and I'll kind of relay them here as well. But I think it was super fascinating. So Meta as a company has like $44 billion of free cash. And to pay off all of their debts, it's about 40 billion or something like that. So they'll have about 4 to 10 billion in leftover cash if they were to pay off all of their debts right now today, which is huge. That's a huge thing. Google, on the other hand, has like 150 billion, give or take. And to pay off all of their debts is about 100 billion. So they have like 50 billion. So they'd be able to pay off Google's debts and Facebook's and Meta's debts and still have cash left over. So Google's doing this thing where, and what they're doing, how Meta's now gone and put 10 billion every year into the metaverse research and development. They're trying to be the forefront of this new industry. Whereas Google is very happy to kind of sit back, just like the iPhones and the smartphones.
And absorb
they're very
it.
happy. Correct. They're good. Man, Apple, you take the large market share, cool. But we're going to come out with Android and take 30% of that. And that's what they've done. And I think a lot of these games, again, that's what I think they're going to do, which is not actually a bad play. Like, it's a risk-adverse play where a Ubisoft, a Riot Games, they're winning. They're currently winning right now.
They're almost not they were game creators that succeeded, that amassed so much wealth that they're now almost like huge VC funds.
Yeah. If you look at it, man, it's just like, it's human behavior. To be honest, it's human behavior. Like when you're young and you have nothing to lose, you're going to gamble. You're going to go in these highly speculative assets. You're going to go crazy, trying to make it big. Once you make it big, are you still going to maintain that same energy? Definitely not. You go from like accumulation phase to preservation. Is that the word? Yeah. Preservation, right? You're trying to keep what you've got.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing now with Riot coming up. They were trying to just get it and put their name in that arena, in that industry. Now they have that name. Are they going to try and risk it all again? Like, it makes no sense. They're trying to hold on to it. So in regards to like why they're being safer and shit, I get it. I wish that it wouldn't be the case. But I mean, that's kind of how the cycle goes. You see it. Young people come up, do some crazy shit. They get older. They hold that position. They're not taking the risk. The new young guns come in, be like, man, you guys aren't taking enough risk. This is the new thing, and it's a cycle, and it continues and it continues. So with them doing all of that, I'm cool with that. Again, I'd love to see everyone be kind of like innovative. It's not going to happen though. So I think it opens up opportunities for us in our space. Honestly, like that's the cool shit. It opens up the opportunities, and the crazy thing is we're going to get to a position where we're not going to be innovative anymore. Like it is going to, like in the next 15 years, 20 years, we're not going to be as innovative as we are today. And it's going to be the new young guns that come in, and man, they're going to shake. And that's going to be in 10, 15 years. Honestly, that's just looking like it's going to be AR, VR. I think 15 years for VR kind of makes sense. That 15, 20, 30 years. And again, that's like, we're going to kind of be like, all right, let's wait, see how it's done properly, and then jump on. In my opinion, I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. But do you agree, disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I pretty much completely agree with that sort of ending up going that way. But my reaction as an investor in Illuvium, for example, has actually been sort of like, well, yeah, obviously this is actually good because it gives us the space and the freedom to be first and build in this completely new space. But then also making me question, like when Kieran says in, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, we want to end up with 9 games. It's like, do we though? Do we not want to just create Illuvium? I'm almost in my head like, wouldn't we want to create this game and then like split the team into like 3 pieces, 1 piece, a third of it, just stay on this game and keep improving this game, maybe even half, and then the other half, they can actually start working on a single additional game, maybe start like hiring additional workforce to create that additional game. Maybe over the next 10 years, we create 2 more, and maybe we create a TV show, maybe we create a movie, but we don't want to grow too much. And then also, the other thing that like Unreal Engine is doing is they're sharing their technology that allow them to create successful games. Illuvium is creating a completely new way of creating games that ultimately they can share. What if we stop making Illuvium games? We split the team in half. Maybe we achieve the 9 games by franchising Illuvium and having other gaming companies build those games. I like, as an investor, I'm like, that could be mad revenue.
Yeah, I think that's, again, I won't say like that's the plan because obviously I'm internal. I can't say shit like that. But I mean, like on a personal level, that kind of makes sense. And Kieran has kind of mentioned that in tweets before of like, yo, what game developers out here are building a TFT game and want to use our IP, right? And I've had a chat with him as well. It's like, all right, we don't want to outsource them, but why don't we just buy these studios? Yeah, we're really making this like, let's, instead of like, all right, let's split the team here and split the team there. Yo, you're well known for that. Let me buy you. Yeah. Work on that shit for us. Use our IP. Like develop that shit under our umbrella. Yeah. It's again like go the Rockstar route. Not Rockstar, sorry, I apologize. The Take-Two Interactive. Do you know what Take-Two Interactive is?
I think I've heard of them.
So Take-Two Interactive owns Rockstar. And you know what else they own? 2K Sports or 2K Games. So like people think, oh, Rockstar, man, it's not Rockstar, it's Take-Two Interactive. And again, it's the same thing. If we're Illuvium, we can own our Rockstar. You do Red Dead Redemption and GTA. That's what you do over here. As Illuvium, we own 2K. Yo, you do the sports games, guys. Like that kind of, that again, as Illuvium, we own Niantic. Yo, you do the AR mobile shit, right? So that's kind of the way I see it going. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Because building everything like that way, it's still internal, and we still have our values that are put into these guys. It's not technically outsourcing because you're the head of all of these things. Yeah. But you're not like, I'm the one responsible for splitting the team here and here and here. You're because it's going to be like you're not going to be able to micromanage it. Totally. Personally, that's how I would do it. But also, I'm not a CEO. But to me, that kind of makes the most sense. And it makes the most sense in regards to like scalability as well. And like you say, like quality of development. Because you don't want to like, again.
It's really hard to build a good game. And it's really easy to spend a lot of money building a game that you think is good that ends up falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Like really easy. So any additional game is a risk. And even if like the auto battler, Overworld, and Illuvium Zero just like blow it out of the park, we don't need a new game for 3 to 5 years. We don't need to see a new game because like it's a competitive esports game. It's like a Tekken 8, but like with actual ownership and be like a completely new game type that isn't similar to Street Fighter. It's new.
I'll say this though. If it's possible to do what the quality that they want, fuck it, go for it.
Of course. I think they should start building it almost immediately after this is done. But like, I think there should be a strong focus on keeping this game good and maintaining it for 20 years. Because I think this is the kind of game that you create that's like when they made Halo 3, like people still play Halo 3. People still play Halo 1. Like, because, no, for real, because before Halo 1, it was like Doom. And the jump between Halo 1 to, from Doom to Halo 1 is actually a bigger jump than what Halo Infinite today is to Halo 1.
Yeah, 100%,
like it's
100%.
that big a jump. And so these constantly newer games, they're often actually adding like novelty that doesn't necessarily improve the gameplay. And a lot of the like die-hard gamers, they'll return to the old school games because they had something that gets lost and diluted over time with extra money somehow.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in Smash again. Like you have Smash Melee.
Yeah, Melee is a huge scene. Yeah.
Brawl is dead. Like Brawl, the one after that is dead.
Yeah.
Smash 4 is dead. It's just like Melee and then Ultimate. So I get you. And also like the thing with the loot that we've been talking about with the whole IVG thing, the core of that loot, the heart of that loot is this overworld. So 100%.
Yeah.
Like this is where it all starts. This is the booster pack opening. Like you need this to be fucking solid. Like you can't let it down. Like, so I agree. Again, if they are able to build out these crazy ass games like really quickly, without using resources, the only way that I can see that is again buying studios and be like, you work for us now. That's the only way I can see it. If it's using up resources, it's going to be like you say, I think 3 years, and then we can get like a kart racer, and then. But again, like we do know that Aaron is saying that this is his lifetime, like his goal for the life, like which to me is cool.
No, I'm deeply bullish on a second game being bomb. I'm deeply bullish on that because honestly, I've not seen any IP building the way that they've built with the deep lore that's they've got like books, man. They've got books of lore. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like there's so much rich history that nobody knows anything about.
Actually, I wonder if I'm sure the internal people know it, like because it's being worked internally. I'm sure if I had a look,
I'm pretty sure they don't even all know it. I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know. Yeah, I might have a look and actually just hit Aaron up and be like, "Hey, man, can I have a look? See if that works anything." But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be interesting, man, to see how it all plays out. I think it's gonna be very, very interesting to see how it plays out. Going back to the whole Netflix thing though. Yeah, man, interesting. I really like. I think Netflix as a brand is dying, to be honest, man. And it sucks because I'm invested in Netflix. But I just think they have way too many competitors, and I don't think this is in like they just threw money, like at content, and like a lot of their content isn't even hitting like that anymore. Like it's just not. I think what they need to do is start leveraging big names. I think comedy. I think you know what I need.
But that's the thing. Like I just saw a Chris Rock series. No, not Chris Rock. Why am I saying Chris Rock? A Kevin Hart series out the other week. That series was bomb. True story.
Yo,
that was sick.
Mental.
That was sick,
dude. I was meant to watch one episode. I was like, oh man, I need a bit of a break. I'm gonna watch one episode. I pitched the entire thing, and I was like, yo, holy shit.
And there was like a flick movie again with Kevin Hart and another guy. I forget his name.
Mark Wahlberg.
No, it's not Mark Wahlberg. There was also a Mark Wahlberg one with him.
Yeah,
they released like a bunch, and it's like it wasn't like insane, but it's like these are still big names. I don't know. I believe in Netflix. I feel like Netflix has just been I've just paid for it for too long, and I'm gonna keep paying for it.
Yeah, I've never paid for Netflix. I use someone's account.
No, I get that.
You know what I really want Netflix to do, man? And I think this is actually based on what I'm seeing on like culture and shit. I'm gonna be slightly political now, but like the whole right and left thing, I think Netflix needs to absolutely what Dave Chappelle is doing. I don't know if you know much about what's going on with Dave Chappelle and shit.
I know a lot about Dave Chappelle. I saw Dave Chappelle live a few weeks back.
Yeah, me too. A few weeks back.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Oh, crazy. I saw him a couple years back. Yo, Dave is next level.
Dave's killing. Yeah.
Next level. Yeah, so like the way that like what they need to do is put out, I think comedy is the way that they need to move forward.
They're
honestly,
pumping comedy, to be honest.
But also, I don't want them, because the thing is, the problem is Dave can get away with it because it's Dave fucking Chappelle. But like there was so much controversy around his last specials, and yeah. So with the censorship, I think what Netflix really needs to do is keep pumping out genuine, authentic points of view, and not censoring it. I think if they can stand up to like what is happening with censorship, I think they're going to get a lot of people to actually support them and back them on a more emotional and a value-based reason than just the content. And I think that's why I think branding is super important. Whereas like you've had people like, man, there's been so many things where it's like, oh man, we censor them. Like Facebook. I think as much as I think Meta is still going to win, it's like like society's sentiment towards Facebook now is, or even Twitter is shifting just because of the censorship that's going on. Whereas I think if Netflix can kind of come out and be like, yo, look, if you don't like it, man, the thing is, and this is another thing I don't get, the amount of content on Netflix, don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Like, it's fine. You don't, like, not everything is based on
not even Netflix, just like anything. Like, if I don't like something, I don't actually actively protest or attack it unless, like if it's not hurting anybody. Like, what? Leave it be.
But that's
leave
the
it
thing,
be.
yeah.
You know.
But then you have the conversation.
The
like,
other thing, though, the other thing, though, just to say like a slightly controversial take, I don't know if it's all Netflix's fault as well. Just because, not Netflix, sorry, Facebook's fault. Like I watched an interview, and I'd never actually watched a genuine interview with the founder of Facebook. I think it was. Was it a Gary
V Zuckerberg one?
It was not a Gary V Zuckerberg one.
I know what you're talking about. It's like the Lex Friedman
podcast. That one. I watched the whole thing. Does he look a bit emotionless? He does. Is it strange that like this man doesn't let his children utilize Facebook or the internet whilst he's creating the metaverse and trying to onboard like literally like the third world countries into the internet to onboard them into his metaverse? It is a bit weird, but there's also others, like there's always two sides to a coin, right? And the other side being, if he doesn't censor anything at all, which is I think what they were initially doing, then they get hated on for not censoring things that need censoring. And then,
but that's the thing. Like,
there's always a balance, and it's like wherever you strike the balance, it's arbitrary. It's actually an arbitrary line, and there's gonna be somebody on one side of the fence that's pissing at you. And what's usually gonna happen is it's both sides of the fence that don't like you because you're doing a little bit of both, and you're trying to play the balancing act.
Yeah, my take is you shouldn't be censoring anything, man. My whole thing is like the truth will come out eventually. It's just like it is what it is. Like Socrates was sentenced to death. Like he was voted by his peers as being like a bad person, as what was the word, like influencing the youth or influencing society and shit in the wrong direction. Socrates, the guy that we now say is like the forefather of Western philosophy. So he was voted. Like it wasn't like like a judge did that. Like his not peers, the community voted.
The community.
And it was wild. And it's like, all right, that was a form of censorship. And now we look back and we're like, they were just wrong. And it's like it's like things happen. Like I think we all want life to be like super rosy and peachy, and it's like, yo, sometimes shit happens. it sounds horrible, but bad things happen sometimes for us to get to where we need to go. It's like we're not that important that our lives are meant to be rainbows and shit. It's like we need to go through some shit. It just is. We can't avoid reality, in my opinion. I know some people are gonna hate me for this, but yeah, you just can't avoid it, man. I just don't get it. It's like, oh, like the hate speech and shit. Cool. Like, I get it. It's dangerous. People could get hurt. I get it. But censoring them makes it feel like what they're saying might be valid. It's like you're scared of what they're saying. And it's like, no, debate it. Like, instead of like, yo, as a government,
have
like,
public
the whole thing,
forums.
society,
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's like trying to cancel somebody and literally eject them from the conversation because their point of view is that wrong, instead of like actually having genuine conversations, genuine debates where you're not just straw manning, you're properly having a genuine debate where you're not just trying to win for the sake of it, but you're actually trying to get to the bottom of something. Because at the end of the day, whether you're left or whether you're right, like both sides are necessary. Because like the left, what the left does is what the right does is it believes in order. You know, it believes in a hierarchy, and hierarchies are necessary in life because the more competent you are, the higher up on a hierarchy you should rise, because you're just better at wielding resources. There isn't one hierarchy though. There's multiple. So you can be good at basketball, you can be good at dentistry, you can be good at TSGing, you know, whatever is your field. And but what the problem with hierarchies is there's someone at the fucking bottom, man. And what the left does is they do their best to redistribute from the top to the bottom so that the people that are at the bottom don't feel dispossessed, rebel, and destroy the whole fucking structure. So both actual sides want the same thing, which is for us to all live in harmony and for everything to work. You know, they're just doing it in different ways. The left and the right shouldn't be fucking fighting. The left and the right, for some reason, like I don't know how we've actually managed to come up with this amazing political system where the left and right have a discourse and discuss things. Because what should be constantly happening is like things are constantly moving and evolving, and the way that they move forward is through the discussion between the left and the right. That's because sometimes the left needs to step in, but then sometimes the right does. But then like with the world of like, so the other issue with no like absolutely no censorship is false information, but like upfront false. Like I don't know, like how much of the news in America is actually like, I don't know, Russian propaganda or Russian trolls. No, this is real, right? There's like literally Russian trolls or like even North Korean trolls that will actually go and incite like fake news stories and different things just to polarize people further left and further right, to get people into the extremes where shit gets dangerous and stupid.
But that's always been happening. That's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, what's like false information.
It's always been happening, but with the internet, it happens at a much faster rate, and there's much less connection. Where like I might not even interact with anyone in my daily life. I just work from home, whatever, and I'm just consuming this media, and there's no one around me in my life to actually reflect to me what's actually going on. So then I get stuck in they actually, I think this is a genuinely real, it's called Pizzagate, where they created somehow this conspiracy theory came out that there were pizza restaurants in a certain American town, and in the basement they had child labor making the pizza, and they were just holding these child slaves making the pizza, and it got to the point where a guy went into a pizza restaurant with a gun because he was like, free the children, man, free the children. He was arrested, fortunately. I don't think anybody, I'm not sure if someone died. I'm not gonna but that's a real story where it gets to that point, you know?
But also, but again, like, it's just so much. It's like, all right, cool. Online fake news and shit. Yeah, cool, no problem. But then, like, and we think that, the news is reputable. Man, the news is just propaganda as well. It's like,
for
how
sure.
often, like,
for sure.
In China, it's like, America is bad. Life in
the
America
news is a
joke.
Bad. The news is a joke.
America like newspaper. It's all, man. All of this media shit is just it's a weird thing. Even like what we do, to be honest, man. It's like it's presenting what we want and our values onto others. It's a weird fucking thing, to be honest. Yeah. It's a. Man,
the biggest issue with the conversation we're having right now is not that we're having it, but that I like this is one of the things that we can discuss and not have a conclusion, because I don't think like what's the solution, you know, and that's the big question, and that's what leads people to extremism. Because
there is a solution.
What is the solution?
The solution is empathy. The solution is empathy.
I agree.
And understanding that, like, yo, it's okay to disagree. Like, really, it's like, yo, like, and this is something that I see so much, man. And I think this is, I've said this, I've never said this publicly, but I think this is my superpower. Like, me growing up in, me being born in Singapore, growing up in an Indian household in Australia, understanding the mix of Eastern cultures and Western cultures, like, I understand how different they are. And it's not that one's right or wrong, but they're different. And understanding why they believe these things, it's like, it's okay. You don't have to agree with it, but understanding. So, for example, in Australia, we were brought up to think that our individual responsible to our individual self is more important than our responsibility to the collective. It's like, yo, I can't help you if I'm not helping myself. In China, it's the other way around. It's like, yo, fuck your individual responsibility. Like, yo, you need to help the collective. And it's like, is that wrong? No, you need to understand the history. You need to understand why that comes from. Like, there's just so much about that shit. And it's like, cool. That's actually the solution. And it's like, yo, we're never going to agree 100%. That's just not how life works.
The other thing that's dope is that like, both of those seemingly opposite viewpoints, they actually want to achieve the same thing.
Yeah, they do.
That's the thing. They're both coming from the same place. And actually uniting the two is actually like wisdom, because you need to take care of yourself to take care of others. Like, if you're like driving a car and you need to like take someone to the hospital, but your gas tank's half empty, if you don't stop to refuel, you're not going to make it to help that person. Yeah. You need to refuel.
And,
you know?
And also, I think both of those things are true. And I think that's what self-awareness, it's a deep conversation. Fuck the gaming conversation. But, like, I think that's where self-awareness comes into it of, cool, if you grew up in that kind of culture and that's what works for you, fair play. Cool. Like, my wife is very much responsibility for the family and the community, like communal responsibility more than herself. Like, she's happy to not be happy to make sure everything else is all right first. That's how she is. For me, I'm not like that. And it's not saying I disregard that, but like, I can't put you in front of me because then I'm going to hate you. Yeah. And I just can't do that. Yeah. I need to make sure that I am solid. And if I am solid, I promise I'm giving you everything I have.
Yeah.
And that's not a wrong thing to do. It's just being self-aware. Like, again, that's why I think travel is super important. Living in different countries is super important. I think reading books is, I won't say it's super important, but it's very helpful in regards to you're able to live lives through. I think, books are magical. The fact that you're looking at a piece of paper with black writing on it and it transports your mind into, like, I think books is the biggest way of learning empathy, in my honest opinion, because you're putting yourself, no matter how you read, you put yourself into the shoes of the protagonist.
Yeah.
And like some of my favorite books, like Book Thief.
I'd say books and movies.
Movies, yeah.
Like, I know that this might be a weird one, but like watching a ton of movies is actually super educational, especially 100%. At a young age, because like few people actually watch like a shit ton of movies. Like, absolutely.
I prefer books just because it's like a longer experience and you're sitting in that and you're feeling it a lot more. Like, if you were to ask me like to empathize with Harry Potter in the movie compared to the book, I just couldn't.
Yeah, no, totally. It's way deeper in a book. It's way deeper.
It's a different level. Yeah. Like, understanding, like Snape's story arc and shit. Like, I cried like when that shit happened. Like, in the book, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah.
I think the one thing, anytime someone talks about books, that I think needs to always be mentioned is that books are overrated, because you also need, apart from like, you can read a bunch of shit, but like once you've read 5 self-help books, You don't need to read a sick self-help
Nah, you
book,
need
bro.
life.
You need
You need
action.
life.
You need
need life.
to do some shit. Go get some actual exercise. Go have some sex. You know, go interact with like for real though.
Yeah.
For real
yeah.
though.
No, agreed.
Like
Agreed.
go and experience
yeah.
life. Like
Yeah, like
because
one of my
this
favorite
is where it's
books-
at.
Yeah, one of my favorite books of all time was The Alchemist. I don't know if you've ever read The Alchemist.
I actually haven't. Is it by Coelho or what's
Yeah.
Paulo
Coelho.
yeah, something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's
My
like a
wife
super
has that
short-
book. Yeah.
It's a super short book. It's an easy book to read. But yeah, man, it's like you said, like I read it when I was younger. I was like, I didn't really get it. I had some life experience. I grew up. I started smoking a bit of weed. I read it again. I was like, yo, this is like the Bible to me. And it's like all it took was like the word again, life experience, man. I go back and read Harry Potter now. It's a different vibe. Like as a teacher, I get Dumbledore more. As an adult, I get Dumbledore more. Like again, like it's crazy. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So life
And
experience.
that's what we talked about earlier. After we recorded with Frobe, we talked about like people don't realize that when you become an adult, that's when your education begins. But the other thing about education is it's not just educating yourself, it's practicing what you've been educated on. So
Yeah.
the best way to educate yourself is to like imbibe information, but then to practice it, and then if you can even teach it, because nothing teaches you better than teaching someone else, because it makes you realize just how little you actually knew about this, and you dig way deeper than you ever thought you'd actually get on this, or even thought that there was. It challenges you. Exactly. Yeah.
And challenge yourself as well. I think that's
Yeah.
another part of the step of like, there's so many times, and that's why I love my brother, man. I love my brother. Me and him have so many, like, our values are the same, but the way we approach things is so different. And it's like, we're always going back and forth, and we'll be pissed off at each other. Be like, yo, how can you think that? And like, we're like, honestly, like, the debates is honestly, I'm grateful. Because it sharpens, like, what is it? Like, what? Steel sharpens steel or some shit like that? Whatever the fuck the saying is. It's like, yeah, like, you just train. Honestly, like, these debates, like, some people, oh, man. Again, this is another thing of like everyone's like, for so many people, like a disagreement is an argument to them. Instead of a learning, like it's just like, oh, you disagree, like you're a bad person. It's like, yo, relax. Like, why don't you have a debate? Why don't you actually just if you really, and this is the thing that I love, it's like if you really think that what you're saying is 100% true, why are you stressing? Debate, back it up, prove it to me. Like, why are you stressing like that? Like, chill out. And it's like, all right, let's go. Like, let's
talk about this.
Yeah, if you really believe that this is true, let's talk about it. Like the shit that I say about empathy. I think this is timeless. Like, why would empathy not be a thing? Like, yeah. So yeah, that's a whole thing. But
empathy is huge as well, because we don't actually listen to most people, and actually listening and actually showing that you've heard what they've said. And like just repeating back like what someone else has just said to you, that shit's huge. Because firstly, they'll tell you like, yeah, you got that slightly wrong. Actually, it's this as well. Or they'll be like, yeah, that's it, and they feel heard. And like I remember going to parties in London, and I'm generally like, I like to just listen to people. I don't go to a party to talk to people. I go to a party to be at a party. I don't like whatever, and then people talk, and when you listen, they just get hooked on you. Like they because everyone, I notice like in a group conversation, everyone's trying to talk, and then everyone's trying to talk next because everyone's trying to get heard, and no one's listening. No one's listening. It's insane.
Fun psychological, Fun. I have a take on that. But a fun psychological fact. Did you know in a group of, I think it's 6 people, the moment you put 6 people together, the conversation splits into 2 groups. Whether it be 2 people and 4 people, but us as human beings can't actually have a conversation with 6 people. What happens is it's someone giving a speech at that point. If everyone's listening, it's a speech.
It's a speech.
But yeah, it's always like 5 is the maximum that you can actually hold a conversation.
That's why we have 5 council members.
Oh shit. But no, the whole thing about the not listening, honestly, I think it goes down to insecurity. Really, it's just insecurity. Like if you're confident in yourself, like, no, you're down to listen. If you're insecure of like, yo, am I good enough? Am I like, and this is something that I had to deal with myself. Like honestly, when I was younger, like I started becoming like properly confident when I was 21. But before that, And I've had this conversation with my brother, and he's like, "Yo, do you remember shit about high school?" And I don't at all. I don't remember anything about high school because I was so insecure about it that the only thing that I could think of was what I would think that other people were thinking about me. Because of that, I wasn't present at all.
Yeah.
Like, I just wasn't present. And I think that's what a lot of people are still living in. Like, I think a lot of people are still living in high school outside of high school.
And what that leads to is actually living a lie. Often to impress people. You're acting a certain way because the people around you expect you to act in that way because they like that about you, even though that isn't who you are. So you're not being yourself, and people like you for not being yourself, and you're scared that if you act like yourself, they're not going to like you. Generally, that's because they probably won't. But if you actually act like yourself and they stop liking you, you've suddenly freed these people out of your life. And there is space for people that might actually like who you actually are to come into your life, and those people can't find you if you're not acting like who you actually are. Like that's duh.
And honestly, just be yourself again. Like, man,
just be yourself.
When I was 21, I don't know, I figured this all out. Like, I won't say I figured it all out, but I mean, I figured it out for myself. But it's like, yo, just be yourself, man. Like, fuck these people. Like, the way it sounds so bad, and I tell my wife this all the time. My wife's like, oh, what are they gonna think about you? And I just ask her the question, like, are they paying my bills? Are they paying my rent? No. Are they putting food on my table? Nah. Fuck them. Like, their opinion means nothing to me. Like when I'm 70 years old, are they gonna be around?
It just doesn't matter. Yeah.
Fuck them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and even the people that are the closest to me, it's like my brother. Does his opinion of me really matter? Nah. It's like, okay, you can have an opinion, and of course I value it more than I would like a random person. But at the end of the day,
attention, but at the end of the day,
my opinion of me matters the most. It's like, man, fuck all of you guys. I'm the one that's
if your opinion of yourself isn't the most important thing to you, you are insecure. That is insecurity because you need validation, and whilst you still need validation from others, you can't actually do anything. You're frozen, and you're actually a slave to your need for validation. And then, like, you can't be yourself. And the truth is, like, if you need someone to tell you, yeah, you can do it, and if they tell you you can't, like, you don't, what? But you think you can and you should. Do it. And then maybe it doesn't even work out, man. But, like, that's the journey of exploration that gets you to where you need to be. Just follow what you want. Like,
and I think, like, the whole meditation thing, that's a whole nother conversation as well. But I think, like, it's something for me that's been interesting because I lived in a suburb where I could chill out in my backyard. There's no cars, nothing like that. It's just quiet. And you get to think. But I've noticed that me living in a city is just noise, fam. Like, always, it's just noise. Like, if you're in the bathroom, the person on top's flushing the toilet, you can hear the plumbing. It's just noise all the time. And I think because of that, I don't think that's good for people, man. Honestly, like, I just don't think that's good for people. I mean, it's good to, like, go get him and, like, the hustle mentality because your mind's always running. But I think it's very bad for, like, self-awareness because you don't actually have time alone with your thoughts. And I think that's super important to just be like, all right, everyone just leave me alone. And, like, again, like you say, like, if you're only thinking about other people's thoughts, and it's crazy, man. And, like, I've had people say, like, oh, man, the thought in my head isn't even my thought. It's like my mom's when they're like, oh, I'm not good enough. It's like they think it's their thought, but it's not. It's like someone put that voice in you. That's not your thought. Your thought is always, I'm the shit.
I mean, to pull that as like gentle step back though, if you're actually thinking about what other people think of you, which is fine, like we all have those thoughts, but like, what do you think everyone else is thinking about? They don't give a shit about you. They're thinking about what you think of them. Like, it's hilarious.
No one gives a fuck. That's no one gets like
that. Like, when you realize that and you stand up confidently and do whatever you want, like obviously without hurting people and within reason, like suddenly you realize, wait a minute, I was always free and I was just like for like no reason. Like
it's mental. It's mental. Like, again, and I tell this to the like influencers and shit, upcoming influencers, where they're like, oh man, what if it's like, and they just overthink. Before they've even put out their first video, they're overthinking. I'm like, dude, no one cares about you.
No.
And like, it's not a bad thing.
You
it's
can
a
get
good thing.
big and still like no one like you can be on a mil subs like
no one cares about you. You're not that important, fam. Like none of us are that important. Like, dude, in my mind, dead set. Michael Jackson died. People don't talk about him anymore. Like, not like that anyway. It's like, dude, he changed music forever. Nipsey Hussle died. Tupac died. But Nipsey died, and like it was like 3 days. And it's on to the next thing. Like, dude, like you're not
people
that important.
People die.
It's
everyone
relax,
dies.
Fam.
Exactly.
Relax. It's like, again, like the whole arrogance thing. It's like, take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
This got so off-piste.
yeah. Fuck it. I mean, I think it's cool though. Take a step back, man. You're not that important. Fuck it. Relax. Just do shit. Try shit. Fail. Fuck it. Like, speak your truth. People aren't gonna like it. Fuck it. Like,
but also,
yeah.
The other side of like speak your truth. Fuck it. People are not gonna like. I've lived that lifestyle. I don't live that lifestyle anymore. The reason I don't live that lifestyle anymore is because, like in the Bible, it says, "Don't throw pearls on swine." Like, don't give gifts to people that Don't be saying your truth to everyone. No one wants to hear your truth. That's the other thing. Because no one cares. You got to kind of just be humble as well. And kind of just do your own thing. Like, there comes a place and a time. As in, like, not like fucking be a doormat or whatever. But like, when I'm out here, I'm talking like this right now, how we're talking. But in my daily life, I just do my thing. I act it out. I'm not talking about what I believe is true. I'm not a preacher. You don't need to be a preacher. You need to do what you're doing in your actions. Don't like see someone walking that, tell them what you think about them. Nah, man. Why? Why? Let them live their life, you know?
I'm definitely not saying that.
Exactly, obviously. I feel like it's a needed caveat though. Just to give it that nuance, you know?
Yeah, because motherfuckers will come out, they'll be like, this is what I believe. Like, relax. I mean, like, play the game, right? Play the game of
play the game. Like Shakespeare said, we're all actors and the whole world is our play. Like, we literally jump from role to role, and it depends how you play the role, what happens to you. If you're playing a shitty character, you can play another character, man. And if you just happen to fuck up your role in a certain performance, there's other performances. It's not the end.
Yeah.
You can learn. You can change.
And as a human, you have different emotions and shit. Like when we say, like, if I'm having a meeting with Kieran, I'm not out here gonna be like, left and right, this and that political. Like, obviously, fucking, even though that's my truth, like, relax. It's like, there's a time and place, understand what's going on. Like, but at the same time, when I'm with Kieran, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I think I can do that. No, fam. I'm gonna figure it out. Like, again, come in with, your authentic self.
You're playing the role. You're playing the role.
Yeah. In whatever situation, like, you're in, play your
There's a
authentic
different
self.
role. There's a different role. Yeah.
Just play the role authentically. That's what I'll say. It's like, don't bring the fucking, like, preacher role to when you're with your family and shit, having a dinner. Like, it's not.
Don't preach to your family. That shit that I've tried, it doesn't work. And guess what? They fucking preach to me too. So it's like, fuck me. Better we don't preach to each other and we just enjoy our time together if we are together, you know?
Yeah. Again, empathize, man. Empathize, play your shit. It's fine.
Exactly.
Just add value. My whole thing is just be authentic and add value. Like, legitimately, if you can do that, you're gonna be good.
But otherwise, TSG fam, this has been sick. We have gone deeper down the rabbit hole than I expected, sir. Did we cover the overarching vision of gaming?
Nah, not at all.
I think we briefly touched upon it. We touched upon, the dangers of the internet, and that led us into psychology, confidence, and just being a human being. Sort of. Bit of a philosophical thing. I don't think we stepped out of line in any like political way. Personally, no. I'm like probably smack back in the middle of politics. I think both sides They both have correct things.
Yeah.
They just need to balance and dialogue. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like the extremes of either.
I was just about to say we get shown the extremes.
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, fucking.
Yeah.
There's valid points on both sides, just not the extremes.
If you empathize more with one side, try and empathize with the other side, because you're going to be shown the extreme of that side, and it pushes you to the extreme of yours. And it's not us and them, yours and theirs. We're all fucking one human family at the end of the day.
We're trying to figure this shit out, man. Yeah.
Exactly.
No one's out here being like. I mean, there are people, but I mean, like, the majority of people are not like, yo, fuck them. Like, let's be harmful. Like, that's a very, very small minority.
Yeah.
The majority are trying to just figure things out in the way that they believe is the right way to do it, which is fine.
I gotta say, man, 10 out of 10, these podcasts are always a great fucking time.
Yeah. They never stay on track, but I mean.
They never disappoint me, though. I always come out feeling slightly better about life. And that's what it's all
100%.
about.
Yeah, this is sick. Yeah, I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation, man. It feels like, again, we talk about gaming and like crypto and shit. Having people actually understand what the fuck we stand for is, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what people think. I think it's all chill. It's all chill.
Yeah.
Peace.
I don't think we said anything cancelable. Yeah.
No.
Peace, guys.